I am so happy to announce that CameronSaaiman.com, our website, is now up and running. So make sure to go to the website and subscribe to our newsletter to stand a chance to win a limited edition MSP cap. We'll also be doing monthly giveaways such as limited edition fight posters, fight kits, cash prizes, and also Pokerbet vouchers. So make sure to go to the website right now. Visit the link in our bio. My guest today is a serial entrepreneur, best known for his business, the 4am Club. He is also a social media personality, and it was awesome to share his stories today with you because he's gone through a lot of adversity to get to the point where he is now. It's none other than Marcius van Antwerp. Lekker my mate.
Cameron Saaiman, ladies and gentlemen. Cameron Saaiman taking care of business. Wow. That look says it all.
Before we get into this episode, I just want to tell you that this episode is brought to you by Pokerbet.co.za, South Africa's leading sports betting and poker betting platform. So make sure to visit the link in our bio, create an account, and enjoy countless games and fun giveaways. So make sure to go follow them on social media as well. But thank you, Pokerbet, for another episode of the MSP Show. Enjoy. Welcome.
Dankie.
Finally, in studio.
Uiteindelik,
Ja, dis awesome. Luister, kan ons hierdie in Engels doen?
Ja, sure.
Gee om.
Mina Kaluma van Galo. Okay,
Cool. Yeah, it's awesome. It's really cool to have you in studio. We've been trying to do this for a few weeks now, actually. And it's fun to have you back here. We were chatting. I think we had a quick lunch meeting. You said you're going to get back into the gym as well. And how's that going? How's it back at CIT boxing?
Yes, it's brutal, mate. I don't know why we do that to ourselves, right?
Yeah.
You skip a couple of weeks and then you go back and then you just hate yourself for skipping, right? But that's where discipline comes in. I heard this beautiful saying about discipline.
We're back?
Yeah, at all.
Are we back? Yo, Gila is terrible at his job. He's like this close to losing his job. This close.
Shame, man. Stuur hom al vir 'n paar sessies by die gym.
Yeah, so you were talking back that quote you just mentioned about discipline. It's super important. I actually just read Atomic Habits, and
Great book, huh?
great book. It's such a sick book because in there you can almost identify a lot of the stuff that you do right, and you're like, yes, freaking. Yes, well done. But then you also identify a lot of the habits that you can change very quickly. So it's awesome. It's very. I think it's important for someone like any high type of working individual to have something like that, a type of escape, or just you need to go through a little bit of suffering to enjoy your day.
Absolutely. That's why I always tell people God must have a sense of humor, mate, because He put greatness right in the epicenter of suffering.
Yeah.
Like the moments in my life where I suffered the most, I experienced the most growth. So I'm at a stage now where if there's a massive loss or a massive mountain to climb, a challenge or whatever, I mean, you know a little bit more about my personal life as well now, but I almost get excited because I know there's a new level of greatness about to be unlocked. And I think when you can adopt that mindset, yes, mate, it really it puts you on a different level.
Yeah, but you are mentioning your background as well, and I've heard and watched you on multiple videos briefly talk about your time in the States. But if we can go back, like after school or after your type of younger years, what was the type of driving force taking you into the direction you are now? And was that always the goal, or was it like almost capturing these opportunities that fell into your lap?
I've always been a obsessed individual. I was obsessed with success. I've always wanted to, since a very young age, wanted to be rich, famous, and it's once again it's because of suffering. At a very young age, I noticed that whoever's got money is in control. The person that's in control has the ability to protect himself from more things than the average individual can. So I've always been pursuing that, but my obsessive nature was very destructive at a young age. So I was very self-destructing. I boozed and I snorted. yes, mate, I was just a terrible human being. I was a disappointment, a disgrace to the family. And I just got to a point in my life where I felt like I just want to die, man. And I remember I drove back to Krugersdorp one time. I was actually driving away. I was dodging the bank because they've been trying to collect my car for the past 6 months, right?
Yeah.
And okay, but nevertheless, I heard this guy talking on the radio, and he said, you know, if today was your last day, what would you say? What would you do? And if you had something to say, to who would you say it? But the smart thing he did was he repeated it again, and it stuck in my head because at that stage in my life, I actually did want to die. You know, I did not love myself very much. I was a disappointment for myself, and I had all of this energy, this obsessive energy, but everything I tried just failed. And I thought to myself, you know, if I did die tomorrow, my funeral would be so sad, not because I'm dead, but because I literally had everything that I needed to become an extraordinary individual. I was just too chicken shit to take action. I could do more. And yeah, that's the day. What is so ek nou net fucking sorry. Wat was die oorspronklike vraag nou weer?
Net soos waar jy begin.
O ja.
Soos, ja. Het hierdie geleenthede amper op jou skoot geval of
O ja.
hoe het hierdie tipe van hoe dit beweeg?
So that day was a day I decided maybe I should die.
So
maybe this version of myself should
Yeah.
die and a new version should rise.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just started on this personal development journey. I started diving into business books, entrepreneurial books, sales books, books about human psychology. And I just kept on gathering. And yeah, I mean, the success I have today didn't happen overnight. It was over many years.
But you would say that was like kind of the fork in the road. That was the defining moment, was that type of mental space, just you and the radio on your way to Krugersdorp.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the tipping point, the
Yeah.
pinnacle moment. But the book that changed my life was Be Obsessed or Be Average by Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
And for the first time in my life, I realized that everybody's like socially beating me with a stick for my obsessive nature, my personality, my temperament. You know, it's too much for everybody. But I had all of this energy. I was just channeling it wrong.
Yeah.
You can be obsessed with bad things, but you can use that same energy and be obsessed with good things, things that will have a massive ROI.
Yeah.
And when I made that switch, that's when my life started taking off.
So what was the first focus after making that switch? Was the first focus on your business itself, or was it on family? Was it your surroundings? What was the first type of thing you really thought you had to take control over?
My mind, myself. I had to go and revisit past moments from my childhood and my life and reanalyze them with a renewed mind, a mind that now has knowledge to apply and look at a situation differently, a different perspective, a different lens, right? And I had to work on myself first and learn how to care for myself, love myself enough to do difficult things, even when I don't feel like it. Believe in myself, because if you're gonna wait for the world to do that for you, especially if you got crazy dreams, like fucking, I mean, you know, I don't know what your backstory is, but it's not like every second guy on the street's going to believe you're going to become a UFC champion of the world.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I think there's a lot of, it can sometimes be a lonely road as well.
Oh,
you know, if
definitely.
you have that type of mindset and you are working towards something, you have like your close circle of people that, you know, like for instance, my teammates, my coaches, you had mentors, you had also, you know, teammates in a business sense to type of help you through that journey. When you went to the States, was that also was that a key focus to go work there in order to come back? What was the focus on going to the States?
I just wanted to escape, because at that stage I was working for a corporate company called Fraser Alexander, and I was earning a great salary, mate. Like for a 23, 24-year-old, that was a lot of money. Great benefits, pension, you name it. And I remember one day I walked into my boss's office and I saw them hanging his 20-year service award. And I thought to myself, fuck this, mate. Like, I am not going to kill this dream. I'm not going to do this. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where I'm going to run to, but I need an out.
Yeah.
You know, and I just said, what's the most uncomfortable thing, craziest thing I can do? And then I fucking went to the States. That was horrible, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Let's chat a bit about that. How was your time in the States? Because I think everyone has like this perception of the American dream, and then you land there, and then it's like it's not really like they make it in the movies. You know?
No, you're the laborer, right? You're gonna labor there, my man.
Yeah.
And it was very intimidating because I was a youngster. I remember like they interview you telephonically before you go over there. Okay. And like 10 minutes prior to the meeting, I quickly Googled all sorts of tractors and stuff. And you know, I thought to myself, I'm just going to use a whole bunch of keywords to make me sound smart and like I'm a farm boy.
Name drop, yeah.
Bam, 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 and I got the job. I thought to myself, well, what's the chances of them chasing me away once I get there, right? And so I literally just winged everything. And when you get there, and it's a lot different than over there than it is here. I mean, the tech they have in the farming equipment is next level. So that was very intimidating. I made a couple of fuck ups, you know. Sorry, I don't know. Can I swear on
that? Yeah, of course. Yeah. Did you break anything?
Yo, I broke grease guns, blowers. I drove an auger cart, right? So you're gonna take that auger out in your tractor, so they fill the auger cart with grain, and then you gotta dump that on the semi when it stops next to the cornfield. And there's so many times that I drove in and I nicked the truck or I nicked the exhaust pipe, right? So the first time they said, okay, no, it's fine, you know, shit happens. The second and third, the fourth time they're like, listen, mate, this fucking
you can't
do this no more, right? Then they just told me there's 2 trucks you load those small trucks, you know. So yeah, it was funny. It was tough back then. It wasn't funny. Now I can laugh about it, but back then it was just cock.
And it's great because you can always use the excuse, sorry, I'm from Africa. So like, I don't know, jammer.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They definitely think you're stupid. Because of the accent, right? Yes. They think you're stupid. But I mean, there's lots of South Africans there that they've built great lives for themselves.
100%. Even more now, because that's a few years ago, right? That's actually a bunch of years ago. So after coming back from the States, what drove you back from the States, and then what was the plan once you got here?
Well, I went and I did something that I didn't know, and then afterwards I knew this is fucking definitely not what I want to do. Okay. So that's the first thing I found out. And when I came back, I just said, screw it, man. I'm going to be an entrepreneur or die trying, you know? And I tried so many businesses, mate. I mean, your family gets to a point where they don't want to fucking hear you talking anymore. Right? Yeah. Well, you've got another idea, there's another failed venture, there's this and that. And it's just so many failed businesses. I think we counted the other day, I think it's over 87 businesses that I've tried, right? That fucked up. Now, after business 10, nobody's going to have respect for you anymore. Right? They think you're a fucking clown. And most people try a business once or twice, it doesn't work out. Yeah. They go back to a day job.
Yeah, because honestly, when you said so many failed businesses, I was thinking like max, like 8, 9, max.
I really tried a whole lot of shit.
What was, when you started a business, was there like was it always businesses or things you found interesting and trying to build a business around that? Or was it more with the sole purpose of looking after yourself, looking after your family, making sure that you made the most money? What was that thought process like?
Look, I mean, everybody wants to be financially independent. You want to, I mean, money is not a bad thing. The more you have of it, the more control you have. It's that old saying, have you ever seen a guy cry on a jet ski? Fuck. So I've always wanted extraordinary financial success. But I think back then, I didn't know much. I was too stupid to really help myself. But you can't get smart if you don't try a whole bunch of shit over and over again. And that's where in those 87 businesses that failed, I learned about marketing. I learned about sales. I learned about infrastructure, about managing yourself emotionally. Because at first, you just try anything that looks like it. You saw Pete's doing this. He's making a fuck ton of money. You think you're going to do the same. No, mate, it's not that. It's not
Yeah.
that easy, and it's this vicious cycle, right? It's over optimistic, and then you dive into a business, and then 3 months in, you realize it's not so easy,
Yeah.
and then it's informed pessimism, right? Now you know, okay, this is not so easy. And what's the quickest way for you to get back to optimism? Try another thing.
100%.
And then
Yeah.
you continuously hop around so many different things, and you never actually push through with one thing
Yeah.
and learn.
Yeah. So when was the first moment you had that type of breakthrough moment in terms of, was it on Business 88 or how did that come about?
Yeah, I think, look, I went back to the States a second time again in COVID
Okay.
because back then I had supplement shops, but then I also started with the social media. I clicked something about social media. Social media is extremely powerful. If you
Yeah.
can muster up the balls to talk and to really have honest and pure intentions, you really want to actually add value to somebody out there, inspire, motivate, whatever, then you are going to have a payoff. As long as you just don't quit. If you continuously show up, eventually you'll get the
Yes.
payoff. So I started with that. But during COVID, I mean, I had no choice. I had to go back to the States. It's the only thing that can more or less generate the type of money I was making. And I came back after that, and fuck, a month, I found out my wife's pregnant. I said to myself, I would rather blow up an ATM than fucking go back to the States. So I said, this is it. That was literally the day my boy was born. Was the day, like, I think something supernatural in me stood up. And yeah, then I dived back into the financial industry because I was a financial advisor earlier in my 20s. And with the social media taking off, I started seeing people asking me for advice because I'm constantly motivating and inspiring, and people constantly ask for advice. I said, okay, you know what? Anybody can book a free consultation with me, free half an hour. Come to me with any problem you have. I'll solve it. If I can't, what's the worst that can happen, right? I don't care whether your mother-in-law is a problem. Come and tell me, I'll try and solve it. And I just started literally helping people, coaching them in business. And luckily now all of the books that I've read, that's also well over 250 by now. All the books that I've read, you know, everything is filed. So I know how to analyze people, and it just everything came full circle in that moment. And I started helping people. Obviously, if I help you solve an issue in your business for free, I gave you my time for free, who are you going to buy your insurance from? Or your investment policy or whatever. And so I started building up, making decent money in the financial industry. But then I saw that there was a need for people to level up in different areas, not just, you can only do so much as a financial planner. And then I just completely took off with the social media. I started what we now call the 4 a.m. Club, which is a network of entrepreneurs. We all do business within the club. It's almost very Jewish vibes.
It's like, I just wanted to say it's like the Jews.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
They're smart people.
They are very smart. You know, I think just to go back where you mentioned the birth of your kid, I think you see that in fighting as well. When fighters have children, when fighters have children, now I'm also getting goosebumps. There's almost a type of, I don't know if it's a surreal accountability or a very intense sense of responsibility that hits that fighter. And then it's almost as if they have a new reason for fighting. It's like you're not doing it just for yourself anymore. You are doing it for a family, your family. And I do think that you then sometimes see these guys just flip another switch. Like you got to see that with a handful of fighters that were very successful after having kids. And I do think that can sometimes, and we've had guys before as well, there's like, since I had a kid, everything changed. Right? And that's also cool to see, because I think it can swing the other way as well. You know, it can really go to the negative, or it can go into, like you say, like your positive, where you started making these action plans. Now, you quickly chatted about the 4 a.m. Club, and I'm very excited because you guys are part of Versus as well. And just chat to us, how did that idea come about to get all these entrepreneurs onto one platform? And like you said, now like the Jews doing business together. Is that the key focus for going forward?
My key focus is to make as big of an impact as I possibly can on, first of all, my country. Because I don't think that there's anything more nobler or honorable for me personally. I'm not saying for everybody out there. That's for me, that's the highest honor I can have, is to really try and make the biggest positive impact I possibly can.
Yeah.
And I believe that is only done through education and cultivating a new culture with people. And if you look at entrepreneurs, when shit really hits the fan in the country, those are the people that come and build it up.
100%.
So a big part of it, I think there's different levels to it. A big part of it is the entrepreneurial network, because we think smart about it. You know, if one guy sells diesel in the club, everybody buys diesel from him. Don't go fucking buy diesel from Pete. Even though he's cheaper, don't be a douchebag, because otherwise we'll kick you out of the club.
Okay.
If another guy sells tools, buy the tools from him, property, whatever. So we try to cultivate this brother bond connection, because where there's unity, if you have 100 millionaires in one club and all of them decide to take over a certain part of town, you can do that very easily.
Yeah.
So there's power in unity. So I think that's a big portion of it. But the other portion as well is to elevate the ordinary folks out there, right?
Yeah.
People that they have this dream, they want to achieve great things, but they're stuck, they don't know how. To help those people with financial education with regards to your emotions. How do you work as a human being? They don't teach you this stuff in school. They don't teach you about financial instruments or sales or hardship. And I think that is the one thing that can leave a big impact, and that's what I'm focusing on right now.
I think that's awesome, because I do think that in the business sector, it can be super cutthroat. It can be very vicious, in the sense of you can almost sometimes miss the personality behind the business, where now with this network, you can almost get to know these people before doing business with them as well. So it's on a very personal level. And I think we also briefly chatted about, you know, how the 4 a.m. club and Versus is going to work together, because you guys are going to do amazing things for these amateur athletes. Like you said, it's not only for millionaires to come together and, you know, enjoy the fruits of their labor. It's also to build up like fighters, like guys that are in a sport that is not very well funded. Give them the necessary tools to also go, here's the tools, go work with those tools, and then make something work for yourself. I think that has a lot of worth and a lot of power. Now, in building this club, and obviously this is something I also want to chat about, and you have a massive following and massive personality on it is quite big.
Give me 2 years, you'll see it then.
But on social media, and you get to see a lot of support. Well, I get to see a lot of the supportive side of it, because I support you. I've been following your stuff for a while, but you also get to see the type of negative comments. You get to see the guys that are very angry. How do you approach that? How do you approach that side of the business? Because obviously your social media is a big part of your business as well.
I think I conquered that a long time ago, because once again, if you try 87 businesses, everybody thinks a clown. Even your fucking mom thinks you're a clown, mate. So you learn that this is going to be a lonely road. Whether people think good or negative, look, I to a certain degree, I need to analyze what people think of me, and I need to reflect on that. But whether people think positive or negative about me, that's none of my fucking business, man.
Yeah.
You go do what I did.
Yeah.
You go climb the mountains that I've climbed, conquer the demons I've conquered, and then you can come and talk to me up here on the mountain. But I'm not climbing down. Vusi Tembakwai says it quite nicely. He says, I'm not climbing down the mountain to come and speak to you. I'm not going to go down to your level. So, yeah, but once again, you need to know yourself, love yourself, believe in yourself. The problem is, if you could see the thoughts of a goldfish in a tank right now, and that goldfish thinks that you're stupid and your nose is big, is that going to bother you?
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's a fucking goldfish.
Yeah.
You know, certain people are just goldfishes. So I just ignore it. A lot of the, sorry to interrupt you, but a lot of the people associate me a lot with Forex, right? Because that's the main thing. People want to learn how to trade. They want automated trading. They want tools and what. So that's a big thing that pulls a lot of people to our organization. But once you're in the organization, that's when you realize, oh, holy shit, there's a lot more to it than trading.
What funny is about that as well, because I think that is the perception is the bots and the Forex and stuff like that. And it also doesn't take a long time to realize it's much more than that. Literally, you just have to go to the website and just read the front page. Then you realize, oh, okay, it's not just that, you know? So and that was actually going into my next question. We get to see on social media a very competitive market when it comes to the Forex, the trading parts, the bot, and then you also get to see the side, and I have to ask you this, you get to see a massive side of drama where the guys do not get, they don't have a lot of respect for each other. So will we see the Forex guys fighting each other soon in the versus cage? Is that something that will happen?
What I can tell you is that any one of those fucking bums out there could muster up the balls to try and do that. Look, they're going to pay me. I'm not going to whip his ass for free.
Yeah, 100%.
He's going to have to put money on the table. But there's nobody out there.
That is so fun.
I'm not talking, we're not professional fighters.
Yes.
I mean, we're not on your level or anything like that. But, oh man.
It's funny because every single time we get called out, and it's always jokingly like, yo, come on, fight the Ananies. It's always like, my man, I don't fight for free. It's like, you're going to have to pay me in order to fight. So, okay, that's very interesting.
Look, with that being said, I'm very cocky on social media and everything, but I know I can back it. I know what I've done in my life and in the past, and I know what my ability is.
Yeah.
But once again, you know, is it that big of a need or a desire for me to go and knock the shit out of somebody? No.
Yeah.
Really. You know, I'm past
Been
that.
there, done that.
Yeah.
Got the
I want to
t-shirt.
make money, my man.
Yeah.
And drive nice cars and inspire the fucking country.
Yeah. And that's also the next thing is like, we get to see a lot of these videos of very successful entrepreneurs and what they do in a day. And how much of your time is going into sitting either with your team or behind a laptop or whatever? How much of your time in a day goes into the businesses that you have?
If somebody from outside looks into it, they won't think that it's a lot of time because I spend most of my time on what I'm good at and high value activities. If I want a 30 million rand business a year, then I need to go and spend my time on tasks that are going to be, if you accumulate them, that are going to be worth 30 million over a year. So high value activities. Anything other than that, I mean, I'm not going to read emails. I'm not going to spend time in front of a laptop. I'm not going to manage or phone or text or do sales calls. I employ people to do that.
Yeah.
My job, what I'm good at, is literally just reading the data and finding problems or opportunities.
Yeah.
And identifying them and then delegating the solution or whatever needs to be done. And other than that, most of my time is spent on marketing.
Okay.
Yeah,
you can see great similarities in yourself. In like, we've had musicians before, we've had other athletes, we've had other businessmen on the podcast as well, and like they always say the same thing. It's like, I'm not going to pretend like I'm good at everything. If there's something I'm not good at, like, I'm going to give that to someone else. I would much rather pay someone to do that job, do it well, than me pretending that I can juggle everything. So that being said, looking forward into the future, do you think your team is going to grow exponentially in this year?
I think we already grew exponentially if I look at the inner circle, right? But I don't need much.
Yeah.
I just need about 10 or 12 bad motherfuckers. Then I'm good. So, and I think we're there now. And from there on, I think we got the sweet spot with the structure now. And if you can run a massive business with 12 highly intelligent, strong, disciplined men, not just men, ladies. We can do it.
It just
too.
happens to be men in this
my
business.
circle.
Yeah. But if anyone wants to send in a CV, they can do that probably as well,
I am not. They never, ever send me a CV. I'll never look at a CV. If
that's
if you
interesting.
want to
Okay.
get my attention,
Yeah.
a fucking CV is not gonna cut it.
Okay, what cuts it? Is it a talent show? Is it a
You
video?
gotta. You know what I always tell people? There's so many folks out there bitch and moaning. So but there's no employment opportunities in South Africa. I've sent out my CV hundreds of times. Stupid. How many times does that work out for you? So stop fucking doing that.
Yeah.
Put on some nice shoes and dress up. Walk to a fucking Toyota dealership. Go knock on the door there. Tell somebody you want to sell this bakkie. You want to try and sell this bakkie. If the guy says no, tomorrow you come back again.
Yeah.
How many times can that guy chase you away? Because he wants a salesman that's got tenacity, right? That doesn't want to quit. You need that fire. You can't just show up once or twice or send in your CV. Go and impress that guy.
It is much harder to say no to someone's face. I also told my girlfriend as well, because she's starting to gig and do some gigs as well. And I told her, like, if the emails are not working, just like drive to the place. Like, they can't really say no to your face. Like, just please, just say please, and go there, go in person.
You know, would be a baller move.
Yeah.
So fucking walking there with a JBL with one of those mics and just start singing.
Yeah.
You're welcome. The next time you pay me, and you turn around. I mean, how many times are you gonna do that before somebody's like, "Fuck, this chick is like next level, man. We gotta get her back, huh?"
So that's cool to hear that you guys are almost you after all this almost tweaking the businesses, tweaking the structures. It sounds like you guys have your structure down. You are quite happy with where you guys are now.
Yeah.
Once you have that, is the focus going to be on another business, or is it going to be on just sharpening this as like creating? Are you creating another fighter? Or are you getting this fighter as good as possible?
I think for now I wanna make this as great as we can.
Okay.
But I mean, life is strange and weird, mate. You get opportunities in the craziest of places and the craziest of times.
Yeah.
So when the right opportunity presents itself, but then again, there's no shortage of opportunities. Like literally, if any seasoned entrepreneur would tell you, he's got to say no to 99% of opportunities. But when the right one comes, I mean, we'll see what happens. I just know that this is now aligned with my passion. Whatever my creator has placed inside of me, I know I can make an impact with this, and I can build a beautiful, rich life for me and my team and my family. So I think we're sticking on this horse for now.
This is a better, or more selfish question, but will we get to see a 4 a.m. golf day anytime soon? Having the guys come together in one place, maybe come watch the fight nights all together, come play golf together, do something like that.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, we can do that. That'll definitely purely just be for fun.
Yeah.
A lot of people use golf days for marketing, but I mean, I'm gonna get better marketing by making a 60-second video.
Yeah.
And posting it, like literally just the whole video.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So, but yeah, for fun. Fuck, let's do it, mate.
And when you are looking to take a break, and this is something we ask everyone, because I think you are a high performance person every single day. At some point, even us, we need to take a step back, relax. What is that? Do you go to the beach? Do you escape with your family? What is that for you? How do you recharge?
I think that's socializing with my mates. And I mean, the people in my inner circle, which is all part of the peeps in the business. But sometimes it's necessary to create a atmosphere or a structure where you are not in the business structure necessarily. You gotta go back to socializing a bit every now and then. So I think that's a big one for me. But also I don't really like going away on vacation for too long.
So you don't like holidays?
3 days max, mate. You know? But then I get
long
iffy,
weekend.
I get agitated, and I wanna do things. I feel my best when I'm constantly like chasing the next thing.
Yeah.
But I know that I have to force myself as well every now and then. We all do.
Yeah.
To just fucking take a breather, mate.
Awesome. I think like that's where training is almost like in our training schedule, you have a midweek break. You still train 3 hours that day, but it's like low intensity. But you
Yeah.
almost have to have that in order to push once again.
Mm.
Do you see your training as a type of mental reset daily or weekly for the job ahead? I think I made that joke the one morning. You said like you had a hectic session. It's like, well, if you get your ass kicked that early in the morning, it can only get better from there, you know?
No, that's definitely true. Absolutely, because once again, you prepare yourself for war.
Yeah.
Basically every day, right?
Yeah.
If you get punched in the face, or you are training until you can't breathe, you're gasping for fucking oxygen, you probably did the most difficult thing in the day already, you know.
Yeah.
And if one does not place yourself in uncomfortable situations, life's going to do it for you, and then it's 10 times cocker. So yeah, I found a lot of my what I'd say makes me who I am today. I found that in doing difficult things training wise, right?
Yes.
Whether that's hitting the gym or boxing or whatever. But if I do difficult things like that, it preps my mind, it preps my soul, and I mean afterwards you feel good. You know you did something that less than 2% of the world actually did today.
Yeah, that's awesome. This is kind of a vague question, but if there's anything, is there anything you are the most excited for this year? If there's one thing, what would that be?
I think it's for the relationships that I'm going to build. I think there's elevation about to happen in so many different areas: relationship, business, finances. I mean, even the versus thing, right? There's such a close correlation with success and having that fighter inside of you, right? So that it's almost a necessary ingredient for success. You need to be a fighter.
100%.
So I'm very excited about that. I'm excited about some of the new products that we're going to launch, and hopefully make a massive impact. I just want to, the times in my life where I feel so blessed and so overwhelmed with love and gratitude is when somebody sends me a text or a DM on Instagram. I don't always find the time to read all my comments or DMs, but when somebody says, "Mate, I've been watching your videos for 3 months and you changed my life," and I just want to say thank you. That's all.
Would you ever consider doing? Because you guys have done meet and greets. I think you guys recently started doing that, and it was a great turnout. Would you book a venue and do a speaking course?
Definitely.
Is that something on the horizon as well?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do a money con. We actually had it scheduled for this year, but there's a couple of things that happened that kind of threw that off course, and
all in good time.
There's more important things to concentrate on now, but most definitely, there's going to be conferences every year, because you need to do a little bit of everything basically, right, to make a massive impact, and we're going to definitely go for that.
And if you have to say if you have to go off the top of your head, like who is your biggest mentors currently? Guys that you look up to, maybe you really take a lot of their content in, read their books, maybe watch videos about them. Who's that?
I'd say Grant Cardone, Vusi Tembekwile, Gary Vaynerchuk. I like Gary. He is just
also
he's
very,
like the
very
godfather of social media.
Very polarizing individual as well.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, you know.
Yeah, I think, and that's the people that I first started spending time with. You know, you mentioned earlier there's a there's almost a season of loneliness that you got to go through when you are shooting for like extraordinary dreams. And those are the people that I spent time with in those lonely seasons that I had, and still till this day.
Yeah.
There's a great saying I always use. I'm not going to take money advice from somebody that's got less money than me. You're not going to take fitness advice from somebody that's obese. You know, so take advice from the best. And if you can't find good mentors in your life, go and look them up on the internet. You know, get an audiobook or whatever.
Awesome. And when it comes to physical challenges, are we going to get to see you fight once again this year?
Yes, I don't know, mate. It depends. Eh?
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
think
putting
I
you on
got
the spot, but
I don't think. Look, I like it, but the previous time I fought, that was a fuck up. That was a stuff up of note. I'm not afraid to mention that. That ring was. I don't know where the fuck they got it. It was wobbly.
Yeah.
But yeah, mate, I'm not a professional boxer, you know. And there's a certain part of me that almost feels a little bit ashamed about that, because, you know, in order for you to go out there in a ring without a shirt and look like a pro fighter, that is something you got to earn. And I got respect for that. The people that work hard for that spend hours, years in a gym to craft their skill, they worked for that privilege, that honor. And now some fucking TikToker pops up there and takes off his shirt, you know. So,
but it wasn't like you didn't prepare for it. I think you were the most prepared out of everyone that fought that night, to be honest.
I was not prepared for the ring.
Okay.
That was like it was very weird, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I round 3 I was fucking dead almost, you know. And I did 6, 7, 8 rounds easy with Vusi at CIT and some of the sparring partners that he gave me there. So I don't know what the hell. Maybe it was a little bit of stage fright, all of that.
Yeah,
but
it plays a massive role.
Well, yeah, that was a stuff up.
And they say like Presley's elevation is hectic. It's like
I almost
like
feel
Mexico
ashamed.
City.
I feel ashamed to talk about it.
No,
Yeah,
but it's also it is cool to be able to almost, even if it wasn't a success in your eyes, still being able to say like, listen, we had this challenge, we set it out, we conquered that challenge, we can go over to the next thing. But I do think there is a turning point now where I think influencer boxing and like social media boxing was a massive thing, and then I think people are quickly realizing it's not that easy. And I think that's also, it's so fun to be able to work with you for versus, because I think we came with the idea of saying like, listen, some of these guys don't even have proper food, but they still do their training sessions every single day. They show up, they make weight, they're going to compete. So it's going to be awesome to have you guys with us to see these guys go through those steps as well. And that event is happening now. Next one is in May, and hopefully we get to see some of the 4 AM club members at the fight nights as well.
Definitely, mate.
Yeah.
What's can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
What was your biggest challenge in the past, or let's say of your entire career?
That's a very good question.
And how did you conquer it?
Biggest challenge in my career. I think there's a bunch, to be honest. Like, I think, so I was a very anxious kid. Well, I'm an anxious person. Let's just call a spade a spade. I think even competing as an amateur, I put a lot of pressure on myself. So for a lot of my events, like I came from a family, both parents working super hard, both of them couldn't always be at my training sessions, not at competitions. But to some extent, I also didn't want them there because I didn't want to fail in front of them. So I think that fear of failure was a massive hurdle we needed to get over. Luckily, I was surrounded by people that don't give a shit about it. Like when I turned pro when I was 18, I think in the industry, everyone wanted me to go compete at IMAFs, which is an amateur world championships. And coach being coach, he was just like, no, fuck that. Like, you going pro.
No, he's not amateur.
Yeah. You're not staying in amateur, you're going pro. Like, I think they believed more in me than I did in myself. And I think that was the biggest challenge going into the pro team, getting my ass kicked every single day, but still coming back with my training bag, going back for it. I think that was the biggest challenge. And I've mentioned this quite a few times on the podcast before as well. But like, even with my pro debut, on the way over to the arena, I was like, not a big car crash, but like if someone just drove into us now, I would shop.
You'd be relieved.
Please, because then I have a great reason not to fight. So I think that anxiety and that fear of failure was a massive hurdle we got to get over. And the more, and it's again, just like the 80 plus businesses, you're going to keep on failing. I had an undefeated amateur record up until recently. I had an undefeated pro record, but it's like you get your ass kicked every single day. Every day you get your ass kicked. You get to see for the 15 minutes, you can see the glory inside the cage. But I lose here against guys every day. So it wasn't even that. It wasn't losing in front of the millions of people. It's like disappointing your team and disappointing the people that love you. And I think that mental hurdle was the biggest thing. Is like, even if you lose, you're going to lose. It's going to happen. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose family. You're going to lose money. You're going to lose fights. It's going to happen. What are you consistently building at? And I think that's a massive mental hurdle I had to get over. Yeah.
I was actually a very anxious kid as well.
Yeah.
When I was a youngster. Like, I don't want to say I was afraid of everything, but I mean, I remember times when my father would pick me up from school and then I'd have a blue eye and he says, "Why the fuck don't you hit the kid back?" And I said, "Dude, no, I'm scared I hurt him. I don't want to hurt him."
Yeah.
I was scared of hurting the kid, not scared of fighting.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of that anxiety came because you see yourself through the eyes of other people.
100%.
If a baby sees himself for the first time in a mirror with his father holding him, his brain makes the correlation. So this is what I look like to you through your eyes.
Yeah.
And it's almost like there's this pathway in your brain being built to see yourself through other people's eyes and be scared of, how they might perceive you. So you don't want to disappoint nobody. You don't want to look stupid. And I kind of conquered that when I just decided, like, how I see myself matters.
Yeah.
But once again, you can't just be cocky and just see yourself as the best, but you don't fucking put in the work, right?
Yeah.
There's certain ingredients you need for that.
But just like in fighting, I think in business it's exactly the same. I do think that the environment will humble you. Like you can be
You're not
big
cock,
dick
but you're
Rick,
not.
No, you can just walk around, flaunt that stuff, but there is going to be, the environment will humble you if you do not focus on the job at hand. I think that's like something you see musicians, and I speak about this quite a lot because someone very close to me is going into that industry. The moment you focus on just like getting fame, like your goal is just to perform in front of thousands of people, you're going to be so focused on that job at hand. Like this is fun. The whole road, like
The entire journey.
performing, figuring out the art is much more fun than just doing that. Like fighting in front of millions in the T-Mobile arena is a fun experience. Like I get to say it, that I get to do that. That's cool. But it's for that 15 minutes. It's cool. After that, you're still going to go back to the gym. You're going to train every single day. You're going to compete against every single person in the gym. That must be much more rewarding than just getting a win in front of 1,000 people, So I think being in love with the process is much more important. And that's also something that you get to learn as you make mistakes, bump your head, get knocked out, You
got to love it all, the good and the bad.
You got to love it all. And luckily we are in that. Luckily I have a great team where it is like, hey, movie mark, this movie making, relax, you're going to get knocked out. So it helps.
Put down that camera, pick up the gloves.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think if we focus too much on that, you're going to lose the side of the art. And that's what I fell in love with when I started. At 12 years old, it was watching the fight, but it was like, I wanted to be that person. I wanted to be the type of person that will be able to enter a cage, be confident in themselves and their ability. Be a showman.
Showcase your skills and your
and then you get to see how to do that, the process behind that, and then you
what an honor. Because how beautiful is it that you you can't just get it by accident. You have to
Yeah,
earn it. And you can
100%.
only earn it by loving the good and the bad.
100%. You have to, yes, weight cutting. You know, I'm a fat child within my heart.
Is
Like,
it?
yes, I'm a just a, if I can sit at the end of an assembly line and just eat,
Chow.
yes, within my heart, I'm
Yeah.
that, you know. And a lot of people don't get to see that. Like, I love food more than anything. I think that's how I take, that's my guilty pleasure. It's restaurants.
Yeah.
Like a brekkie or lunch there, you know, that's my favorite thing. And then that's a small price you have to pay. Listen, we have this job at hand. We have this weight to lose. You need to focus on that.
There's
So,
always a price to pay.
always,
I
always,
like
no
telling
matter what.
people that whatever you want in life, you must know that there's going to be a sacrificial lamb that you need to put on the table.
100%. Yeah.
But you will not get it. It's simple,
Yeah.
but it's not easy.
It is never easy. But it is amazing to hear you also say, and also be honest about it, because I think a lot of people will say, like, yeah, I made it. Like, I never, like, it is important for people to know how many times did you bump your head until you hit that moment, because I think there's also a very unrealistic expectation. Like, we get a lot of messages. I want to fight. I'm gonna fight in the UFC. It's like, okay, how many times a day are you training? Let's just start there quickly. Like, no, I want to be a millionaire. I want to become a millionaire within a year. Okay, how much time are you spending on your business? I think people are so fixated on the product that they're not very fixated on the process of getting the product. So
Absolutely.
I think that's where stuff like the 4 a.m. club is so important, because that's, like you said, the education is so important. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the year. You know, I think it's going to be a good year.
Absolutely. Look, myself on social media, I've got a great way of, being cocky and entertaining or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. Anybody that spends 10 minutes with me will have the opportunity to see my heart. The same with you, If somebody interacts with you, they'll get the opportunity to see your heart, whether it's pure or not. But I mean, look at somebody like Conor McGregor. A lot of people say I remind them of Conor McGregor, or I look like Alexander Volkanovski. But what I love about Conor McGregor is like man, that guy is a genius at marketing.
Massive.
He blew himself up.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you do something while the rest of the world calls you a clown, right? And you pull off the fucking you're the biggest superstar of the century, then you can tell whoever to go fuck
And
themselves.
you know, like recent examples of that was like Ilya Tupuria. So he's put in his bio, he already said 15-0 UFC world champion before the fight even happened against Volkanovski.
Oh, yeah?
He was also filming a documentary, Al Matador, his road to the championship. He was filming that before
That's
becoming
conviction.
champion. And that
Complete.
is just hammering on that. And that's something, like, honestly, that's something that's like I have to work on, and I had to work on even more. I have to work on that as well. Like, a lot of people around me believe more in me than I do, you know? So, and that's something it takes time. And once you get that grip, that sweet spot, just like where you feel like the business is now, like you have everything honed in. Once you get that point, then everything is smooth sailing from there, you know?
I think what's important is I think when you do marketing, especially of your personality, it's almost like you gotta show people this extreme version of yourself. But I'm not the fucking full blown high energetic Marcius the whole time. You know. But that is part of my nature and my characteristic. But it's to show them an extreme version of you.
Yeah.
And also a confident one.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think every guy, it's enjoy the journey, because you have the opportunity now to go and search for that.
Yeah.
And wow, man, how exciting. What are you going to find there?
Yeah,
you know?
definitely. And make it count. You don't want to look back and be like, yes, I wish I would rather said that rather than that, or I was too nice. Sometimes I'm like, I'm way too nice. You know,
we
like,
are humble. South Africans are humble, man.
Yeah, it does help. Because it's always like the thing of your physio telling you, no, you must walk like this. Donnie, if I walk like that, I'm gonna get knocked out. Like
Yeah.
someone's
not gonna
quickly
work.
gonna humble you. So you're in that environment. But yeah, I'm so excited. I'm excited for the 4 a.m. club. I'm excited for the work we're gonna be doing with Versus. And if you guys can come check it out. We have 6 events scheduled for this year. It's gonna be sick.
Fire.
Yeah.
I'm
And
excited for your belt, my man.
yeah, that's on the way, and that's something that we are actively working on, and I'm so excited because it's been 10 years of fighting. So
Fucking hell.
10 years, 5 years, 4 years as a professional, 5 years as a professional. So yeah, and we still have a long way to go. That's also injury management is massive.
Yeah,
That's
I can
massive.
think.
Yeah.
You know how many people I speak to that say 10 years? Like they had their big, the pinnacle moment
Yeah.
of where everything tipped for them
Yeah.
for the best. What 10 years? 10 years in.
That's insane.
All of them.
Yeah.
I've had so many conversations like that.
That's awesome. 10 years.
I just
Yeah.
want to end off with this. We're talking about the marketing yourself and whatever. Drickus is doing a fucking killer job at leveling up at that.
Yeah, no, he does. He does
checking him
very
in
well.
the press conferences, like that one guy stood up and says, "Yo, Dino says he doesn't really know about the, whether it was they scored it right or whatever."
Yes.
He's like, "Bullshit."
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like he didn't even think about it. It was like,
Definitely. But that's something Drickus has always been good at. I think he's very good at choosing the timing of when he's going to vocalize it, because I think like his self-belief is amazing. You got to see that in the Robert Whittaker fight. Like no one gave him the time of day. You had a big bet on him.
yes. I felt like I was gonna fucking pass out.
Yeah, and you made it
Yes.
very public as well, which was awesome. Yeah, that's nice. That's cool to
it's,
see.
It's that old saying, "Put your money where your mouth is."
That's
right?
awesome. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, and I do the same for you as well.
Definitely.
So-
And this year we are going to put the money where our mouths are. So, yeah.
Let's do it, mate.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you want to check out the 4 a.m. Club or Marcius, go check out the links below. We'll just post that in the description. Thank you so much for being here. It's
Thank
awesome
you, mate. What an
having
honor.
you.
Sit here
And-
with Cameron
yeah.
Saaiman.
And it's
a
also great
legend.
because now everyone gets to see you pass a 30 to 60 second clip, so...
I'm gonna call it like Drickus. I've
Yeah.
got cardio for days.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you haven't subscribed yet. Make sure to do that and leave a comment down below. Cheers.